Today I wanted to show you some of the training stuff we're working on in Sherlock's class with him right now. Sorry, it's kind of dark in the background. It's really stormy outside, and our overhead light has to be replaced, so it's kind of dark in here. But I'll try and brighten it up as much as possible whenever I go back and edit. Before we get started, I kind of wanted to show you something. This is the stand I use to hold my camera while I am filming, just if I'm just sitting still. It's made out of Legos. See? There's a little space my phone fits in, and it just kind of goes to show you that you don't need super expensive equipment to film videos. So, you do you, whatever works for you, but you don't have to go out and spend a ton of money. I considered getting a webcam, but I realized the camera on my phone was actually a lot better quality, which is kind of sad. So anyway, just kind of as a, before we get started. The treats I'm using for Sherlock today, I was using hot dogs for him. These are little, little sourdough bread. They're for it's like little cocktail pieces of bread, but if I break them off into just pieces, I found that they are the perfect size for a single training session. You might hear Sesame Street in the background. Sam is watching her show, so. But anyway, I'm gonna set you down. Pardon my my gym shorts. I'm gonna set you down right here, and we will get started. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so once again, here's his clicker. Sorry for my congestion. We've got a cold going through our house right now. So right now we're working on nonverbal commands. He sees the treats and now he doesn't want to do anything. Good. And that's his drop. The thing about these clickers is that my partner works overnights, so he sleeps during the day. So if you want to silence this clicker, make it a little quieter, you can turn it around and put one of your other fingers down here on this little metal circle, and then it quiets it a little bit. It's also good for when I'm training while the baby's asleep. And that's his nonverbal down. I know a lot of people use this for sit. I don't, because this is actually what we use for up. So, and we were doing that before I started the training class, so the trainer just said, find something that works for you guys. So, got his little niblets. I better just put them in my pocket so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Alright. Now this is the thing we do. I was talking about it in yesterday's video, where you hold out the treat and then you wait for a couple of seconds before you click and then give it to him, and then slowly, slowly you prolong the time that you make eye contact before you give them the treat. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Oh, he looked away, so we gotta start over. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. We're gonna give him 2. I've gotten him up to 4 so far, I think. I don't remember if we made it to the 5, but the goal before we go back to class this week is to have him be able to do this consistently. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Oh, he looked away. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. We'll give him 2 since he's having a little bit of a hard time today. And that's another thing I want to kind of touch on. Even fully trained service dogs have bad days. They have days where they don't want to do their tasks. They're just like people. Sometimes they just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Kennel. giving treats during training is you want to not be stingy with the treats. Be generous with the treats. Be stingy about the size. And I'm drop again. Good. And that's our nonverbal cue. Pointing to the ground is our nonverbal cue for drop. Let's see. Now for up is something we're still working on quite a bit. So what I've been doing is I do this hand motion, but while he's still learning it, what I do is I tuck the treat in between my two fingers. And then slowly he'll learn, the idea is that he'll learn to associate this hand movement with up. He's getting impatient. Good. Oops, you got it. Slowly he'll start to associate that hand motion with I want him to jump up. And that's for, he will be trained for retrieval. I put my clicker on a little, one of these, so whenever we're in the training class, the apron that I wear, I can just snap it onto the apron. But he will be trained for retrieval tasks, and to more or less actually kind of help me around the house. I'm also having just generally a lot of trouble with my body right now, my joints, and there are these splints I have to wear on a pretty regular basis that keep my hands completely immobilized except for my fingers, and it makes it kind of hard to pick stuff up. It is pretty painful to do some basic tasks like even washing out sippy cups or things of that nature. It really causes me a lot of pain in my fingers and my hands and stuff. So things like picking up toys off the floor, he'll be trained to help me to do those things. Good. The thing about this clicker that I'm having a little bit of trouble with is you have to be pretty swift about clicking it. I am bad about not having it in my hand whenever I give a command, because we weren't using this until Thursday. This is very new for our training sessions, but I found it seems to be a lot more effective than not using it. So just kind of, something to think about if you're working on training your own dog, just using like command, have them do it, and then treat. Just the audio cue for the clicker seems to be pretty effective. I think it's been more effective since we started using it than since we haven't. So just kind of something to think about for your own thing. Something else we're working on is we worked on having them on a loose lead. So basically when they're on the leash, walking loosely, not pulling, and part of it is having them come stand by you, by me. Good. That one he's still kind of having trouble with. But we'll just, I'm making sure to work with him on it quite a bit, just kind of keep working with him on it. You don't want to train your dog too much. From what the trainer said in class, short, frequent training sessions are better. He said no longer than like 10 minutes at a time. By me. Good. Because it just tires out the dog. Also, too many treats can make them fat. And you don't want a service dog that's not healthy, because they won't be able to work as efficiently, if at all. By me. Another training tip I got from actually a friend of mine was to swap up their treats regularly, because if you keep giving them the same ones, they'll get bored. Sherlock. They'll get bored, and then they won't want to work as much for them. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Good. So, you want to, hi baby, you want to kind of swap up their treats so they don't get bored. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 1 Mississippi. Oh, he's so distracted right now. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I'll give it to you at 2 because you're struggling today. But yeah, anyway, just keep in mind, swap up your treats. Remember that even fully trained dogs have bad days. His first class was 2 days ago, so I'm being a little, I'm trying to keep that in mind. I've really only ever been around fully trained service dogs, so I have to keep in mind that I can't constantly compare him to fully trained dogs and then get bummed out because he still jumps on people and, when he gets excited and stuff like that, because he just started training 2 days ago. So I guess my point is, if your dog is in training, remember they're just starting out. Service dogs, before they start training, they're just regular dogs. Some of them are a little more ill-mannered than others, but before they start their training, they're just regular dogs. And so try not to be too hard on your dog if they are still in training. I mean, there are certain standards that you have to uphold, but I guess try not to compare them to other dogs too much because it really doesn't do your dog any favors. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to leave it there. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.